Welcome to the deep dive. If you're listening, chances are you're right in the middle of that incredible, sometimes messy, but deeply rewarding journey of raising a human being.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we are really cracking open what feels like the ultimate operating guide. Growing Together, a parent's guide to child psychology.
Yeah, this source material, it's basically what every parent secretly wishes for, isn't it?
Yeah.
A comprehensive manual for understanding why kids do what they do.
Right.
From babies all the way through the teen years. The listener shared this because they wanted that clear roadmap, and well, that's our mission today.
Absolutely. We're here to distill the core wisdom. We're focusing heavily on those foundational psychological frameworks and, crucially, the things you can actually do, actionable strategies.
That's the key.
We want to give you insights that really drive healthy development, physical, cognitive, emotional, social, pulling out those nuggets that take it beyond just generic advice.
Into real understanding.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Right.
So let's start with why understanding child psychology even matters. Beyond the textbook stuff.
Right. Because having these theories gives you a lens. It helps you predict and interpret behavior. It's the difference between just reacting to, say, a massive temper tantrum.
Which we've all been there.
Oh, yeah. And actually understanding the developmental frustration that might be driving it. It gives you context.
Necessary context. So where do we start? What are the big pillars here?
Okay, so we need three major theoretical pillars. Think of them as our roadmap. First up is Piaget's cognitive development theory. Piaget fundamentally changed how we see kids. He argued they aren't just mini adults. They're active learners, constructing their understanding of the world through four distinct sequential stages.
So it's like kids see the world through a different filter depending on their age, their stage.
Precisely. Let's zoom in on one stage for a sec, the pre-operational stage. This is roughly ages 2 to 7.
Toddler and preschool years.
Exactly. And a key concept here is egocentrism. Now, the source is really clear. Egocentrism isn't selfishness in the way we think of it.
Okay, that's important.
It's a developmental thing. They literally can't see the world from another person's perspective yet.
Wow. Okay, that is a fundamental shift. So if my toddler snatches a toy and won't share, my first thought might be defiance or, bad manners.
Right, the typical reaction.
But if I realize they actually genuinely can't grasp that someone else wants that toy, the whole interaction changes.
It radically changes your response. You stop punishing what looks like a personality flaw, and you start teaching a skill they just don't have yet.
Right.
And understanding this helps parents tailor things. You need concrete examples, visual aids, simple words for a child in this stage. Abstract thinking, it just hasn't clicked yet.
That makes sense. Which brings us actually quite neatly to the second pillar, Vygotsky's sociocultural theory. This one seems to focus more on interaction, less on those internal stages.
Yes, exactly. Vygotsky really emphasized the role of social interaction in culture. He gave us the concept of the zone of proximal development, the ZPD.
The ZPD, okay, what is that exactly?
Think of the ZPD as that sweet spot. It's right at the edge of what a child can almost do by themselves, but not quite. That's where the most effective learning happens.
Okay, so the parent's job isn't just to lecture or fix it for them. It's more like providing scaffolding, like temporary support.
You got it. Scaffolding, perfect analogy. We give support, maybe a hint, a leading question, show them once, and then, crucially, we gradually pull back that support as they start to get it.
Okay.
But here's the common mistake the source points out. Over-supporting.
Interesting. Doing too much.
Yeah. Parents often jump in too fast, maybe out of impatience or, they don't want their kid to fail or struggle, but that actually keeps the child out of that productive ZPD learning zone.
That's a tough balance to strike, isn't it? Finding that sweet spot of just enough help. Okay, so we've got Piaget on cognitive stages, Vygotsky on social learning. What's the third pillar?
We move into the emotional world with Erikson's psychosocial development theory. Erikson mapped out our journey through life as a series of psychosocial crises or conflicts that we need to resolve.
Crises sounds intense.
Well, think of them as turning points. For instance, those toddler years. They're defined by the crisis of autonomy versus shame and doubt.
Okay. That explains why my 2-year-old wants to do absolutely everything by myself, even if it takes forever or makes a huge mess.
Exactly. They have this deep developmental drive to develop independence, autonomy.
And if we constantly rush them, or criticize their messy attempts.
They develop shame and doubt about their abilities instead of that healthy sense of self-efficacy.
Okay, so having this 3-part roadmap, Piaget for thinking, Vygotsky for learning with others, Erickson for emotional challenges, what does this actually mean for you, the parent, day to day?
It means setting realistic expectations, not just for school stuff, but for their behavior, their emotional maturity. If you know what a 4-year-old brain is actually capable of, you won't burn energy fighting battles. They're literally developmentally wired to lose right now.
That makes so much sense. And that foundation of understanding, it seems like it leads right into building strong connections. Let's talk about attachment theory, Bowlby and Ainsworth territory.
Yes, a critical piece. The core idea seems simple, but it's profound. That deep emotional bond between a child and their main caregivers. That's the engine. It drives future social skills, emotional competence, everything.
Secure attachment, that's the goal.
That's the goal. It builds the foundation for healthy relationships later on, resilience when things get tough, and being able to, manage your emotions effectively. That lasts right into adulthood.
Okay, but here's a common worry I hear. If I rush to my baby every time they cry, won't I spoil them, make them too dependent? What does the research in this guide say about that early stage?
It completely busts that myth. The source is really emphatic here. In infancy, you cannot spoil baby by responding promptly to their cries.
Okay, good to know.
When a caregiver is reliably there and attuned, meaning they don't just show up, but they respond appropriately to the need behind the cry, hunger, comfort, whatever.
Yeah.
They're building deep trust, security. They're teaching that baby, the world is safe, my needs get met.
That's powerful. So building on that trust, the source moves into tools we need constantly. Communication.
Every single day.
And this is where theory becomes really practical action. Chapter 7 highlights active listening.
Active listening. And this is kind of a radical idea because, let's be honest, most of us listen waiting for our turn to talk.
Guilty, yeah.
Right. Active listening means you are fully engaged, mentally, physically, giving your child your complete, undivided attention. And that means the phone goes down.
Put it away.
Laptop closes. Turn towards them. Face them.
That physical presence alone speaks volumes, doesn't it? What about the verbal side of active listening?
Okay, the key tools are reflective paraphrasing and asking open-ended questions.
Reflective paraphrasing, like mirroring back what they said.
Sort of, but deeper. It's like saying, okay, so it sounds like you're feeling really mad because that game didn't go how you wanted. It's hard because it forces you to actually process their emotion first.
Before you jump in with solutions or judgments.
Exactly. And it does two things. It validates their feeling. It's okay to feel mad.
Yeah.
And it shows them you really heard not just the words, but the feeling behind them.
And the power of just feeling heard. It's huge. It creates this emotional safe space.
It absolutely does. When a child feels genuinely understood, not judged, they are so much more likely to feel safe coming to you later with the big stuff.
Especially in those tricky teen years.
Absolutely. When peer issues get complicated, or they're facing tough choices, you've built that track record. They trust you won't just shut down their big feelings.
Okay, moving beyond that core connection piece, let's talk about a really important mindset shift for modern parenting. Emotional intelligence, or EQ. The sources we looked at consistently argue that EQ, understanding, using, managing emotions, is often just as critical as IQ.
If not more so in some ways. The basic goal here is pretty straightforward. We want to raise kids who are aware of their own feelings and can also be genuinely empathetic towards others.
So how do we teach that? It feels kind of abstract.
Well, the source introduces a very structured method, actually. It's called the ruler approach.
RULER. Okay, what does that stand for?
It stands for recognizing, understanding, labeling, expressing, and regulating emotions.
Recognizing, understanding, labeling, expressing, regulating.
Okay, it gives parents a concrete framework for coaching emotional skills.
Can you walk us through a quick example? How would you apply ruler?
Sure. Let's imagine a child having a meltdown because their block tower just crashed.
Okay, familiar scene.
Yep. So first, recognize the emotion physically. What do you see? Red face, tears, maybe kicking.
Right.
Then understand the cause. Why are they upset?
Oh, okay.
The tower fell, frustration, disappointment.
Got it.
Next, label the feeling specifically. Wow, that looks like overwhelming frustration. Using the actual word helps.
Labeling it gives them a handle on it.
Exactly. Then help them express it constructively.
Oh.
It's okay to feel frustrated, but hitting isn't okay. We need to use our words or maybe punch a pillow.
Find a safe outlet.
Yes. And finally, work together on regulating. Okay, let's take 3 deep breaths together. And then we can think about how to build it again, maybe differently. That intentional 5-step process helps transfer the skill from you to them over time.
That's a really practical tool. Okay, so once we have that emotional awareness building, we naturally shift into managing behavior, discipline. And the guide really champions the philosophy of positive discipline in Chapter 8.
Yes, and it's crucial to understand. Positive discipline is not the same as permissive parenting.
No,
it's not about letting kids do whatever they want.
Right, it's not about no limits.
No, it's a fundamental mindset shift. The focus is on teaching and guiding, not on punishing. The long-term goal is to foster self-regulation, responsibility, problem-solving skills. We're looking for solutions together, not just making them pay for mistakes.
And probably the most well-known tool from this approach is using natural and logical consequences.
Exactly. Consequences that are directly, logically related to the misbehavior. This helps them see the connection between their actions and the outcome.
So what's the difference? Natural versus logical.
A natural consequence is simply what happens without parental intervention. If you refuse to wear your coat, you feel cold. Simple cause and effect.
Okay.
A logical consequence is one the parent sets up, but it must be relevant. So if the rule is toys get cleaned up before bed and they don't do it, the logical consequence isn't, say, grounding them from TV.
Because that's unrelated.
Totally unrelated.
Yeah.
The logical consequence is that those specific toys get put away by the parent and are unavailable to play with for a period, maybe until the chore is done next time. It connects directly back to the toys.
That makes sense. It's easy to talk about logical consequences when things are calm, but let's be real, when you're tired, frustrated, maybe running late, sometimes that immediate reaction is just punitive. How do the sources suggest parents manage their own feelings first?
That's such a critical point. The guide emphasizes that consistent positive discipline absolutely requires parental self-awareness and self-regulation. It actually suggests parents use a parental timeout.
A timeout for the parent.
Yes. Just taking 5 minutes, step away, breathe, calm down before engaging with the child about the misbehavior. This ensures your response comes from a place of teaching, not just anger or frustration.
Using a ruler on ourselves first.
Exactly. You have to regulate yourself first. And they also reframe the idea of timeout for the child. It's called positive timeout.
How is that different?
It's viewed collaboratively, not as isolation or punishment, but as a calm down corner or reset spot. A tool to help the child regain control and reflect. A chance to get regulated so you can talk about it productively afterwards.
Okay, that reframing is important. Now, building on that self-regulation idea, let's hit another essential concept for building confidence. The growth mindset. Carol Dweck's work.
Yes, this is huge. The guide calls it the ultimate confidence builder.
Why? What's the core idea?
It emphasizes that abilities and intelligence aren't fixed traits you're born with. They can be developed through dedication, effort, learning, and persistence.
Okay, so it counters that I'm just not good at math idea.
Precisely. And this is where we have to look really closely at how we praise our kids. The source details the major pitfall of what's called outcome-based praise.
Like saying, wow, you're so smart, or you're such a natural athlete.
Exactly those phrases.
But why is that bad? It sounds so positive and encouraging on the surface.
It seems like it should be, but it actually creates a huge fear of failure. Think about it. If getting an A means I am smart, then getting a C must mean I am not smart.
Ah, it links their identity directly to the outcome.
Right. So kids praised mainly for innate talent or intelligence become less likely to take on challenges. They don't want to risk doing something that might make them look not smart or not talented. They start believing intelligence is fixed.
So what's the alternative? How should we praise?
We need to switch entirely to effort-based praise. Focus on the process, the strategies they used, the hard work, the perseverance, not the fixed trait.
Okay. Give me an example.
So instead of great job getting an A, which focuses on the outcome,
right,
try something like, wow, I am so proud of how hard you studied for that test. I saw you skip video games to review your notes and you made flashcards. Your effort really paid off.
Ah, so you connect the success directly back to their choices and their actions.
Yes. It teaches them that they are in control of their learning and outcomes through effort and strategy. That builds resilience.
Which is so key as they navigate, well, the complexities of the modern world. And that brings us perfectly to our last big topic from the guide, navigating the digital world. Chapter 12, we can't avoid talking about screens and tech.
No, it's a huge part of modern childhood. The advice starts early and is quite specific, reinforcing the established AAP guidance.
AAP, American Academy of Pediatrics.
Correct. They recommend essentially no screen media for kids under 18 months, except maybe video chatting with family. And then for kids aged 2 to 5, limiting it to just 1 hour per day of high-quality educational programming. Watched with a parent, ideally.
1 hour, that's not a lot in today's world. But what about older kids? It gets way more complicated then, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about the amount of time, but the content, the social interactions.
Exactly. For older kids and teens, the focus shifts from just strict time limits, which can be hard to enforce anyway, towards parental mediation and teaching self-management. You need to know what they're watching, who they're interacting with.
So what's the actionable strategy there?
The big recommendation is collaboratively creating a family media plan.
Collaboratively, meaning involve the kids in making the rules.
Yes, especially older ones. This gives them some buy-in, some autonomy. You discuss and agree together on clear boundaries.
Like what kind of boundaries?
Things like screen-free zones, maybe no devices in bedrooms overnight, or definitely not at the dinner table, and establishing device curfews like all screens off an hour before bedtime.
That makes sense. It teaches them digital citizenship, self-regulation, linking back to positive discipline and responsibility again.
It all connects. And
Good.
crucially, it also highlights parental modeling. If the rule is no phones at dinner, well,
Your phone needs to be put away too. Lead by example.
absolutely. You're teaching them technology is a tool we manage, not something that manages us.
Okay. Wow. This deep dive has really given us, and hopefully you, both the big picture frameworks and some really practical tools. We've covered those core psychological theories, the roadmap, really.
Piaget, Vygotsky, Erickson,
Then the power of active listening and secure attachment for building strong bonds.
that foundational connection.
And those crucial mindset shifts, emotional intelligence, positive discipline, and praising effort over outcome. It really underscores that parenting is this continuous journey of learning and adapting.
It truly is. And maybe the final thought to leave you with, building on the last chapter of the source, chapter 20 on continuing growth, is that the journey really doesn't end.
No graduation ceremony.
Definitely not. The key takeaway isn't aiming for perfection, because, well, that's impossible. It's about staying curious, persistently curious. Trust your instincts, yes, but also stay open to learning more about your child's unique path as they grow and change.
And look after yourself, too.
Critically important.
Yeah.
Practice that self-care, manage your own stress, because ultimately your child doesn't need a perfect parent or one who's always right. They need a parent who is present, loving, and willing to keep learning and evolving right alongside them.
To get more details about growing together, A Parent's Guide to Child Psychology, click the below link to get the book. Subscribe us to get more content like this.